Welcome to the Beaver Ridge Campground mandatory training. For some of you, we're together in person. Others are on a YouTube recording format. Either way, we welcome you and would like to introduce ourselves as members of the Murray, Utah Little Cottonwood Stake as the agent stake, the Beaver Ridge Campground. This introductory module of the training will cover a few housekeeping items and then give you some important information as leaders of your individual camping group. I'd like to introduce you to our camp managers, Doug Horn and Randy Botcher. Their phone numbers and email addresses are provided here. Feel free to read through some of these projects and parts of maintaining the campground that are assigned to them, and then you'll know when they can be of service to you either before or while you're at the campground so you can contact them. Let me introduce myself now. My name is Patty Godfrey, and here I've provided the phone number and an email address where you can reach me if you have any questions about the items listed, such as maps, driving instruction, key codes, your scheduling, the fees, or this training. No need to take any notes. I'll provide handouts at the end of the training with all of the information needed. The purpose of the recreational campgrounds is to provide a dedicated outdoor setting for church activities. But the primary purpose of these camps is to help the youth feel the spirit and enjoy safe, wholesome recreation. This is the reason the church gives highest priority booking rights to the young women and young men organizations. Of course, stakes, wards, and even individual families may also use these camps for approved activities. And in so keeping with this purpose, we ask for your help so we can maintain the pristine condition of the property and help you provide a safe environment for your campers. That's the purpose of this training and for the rules of use that you'll learn here today. One of the most important responsibilities as leadership for your group is helping your group find the campground. The use of the map we provide is going to be key in that it provides not only the map and the directions, but it also provides detailed instructions on each of those step-by-step instructions. It provides the gate codes to open 2 locked gates that are required before entering Beaver Ridge Campground. Please publish this handout to all of the people that might be driving a vehicle. Of course, you don't want to have to give it out to everyone because it has the gate codes, and we feel that there's no need for everyone to have all of these codes. It's mostly just for drivers of vehicles. As I said, there are 2 locked gates that need to be opened along the way. Please make sure every driver is aware that they need these gate codes and the 1-page instructions before they get to that first gate. As I have found from many phone calls and experience over the years that the cell service from beyond this point along the road is not reliable, and campers may not be able to reach anyone via their mobile phones to ask for codes or further instructions. The cell service is great once you get up to the campground, but on the road approaching the campground, it's pretty spotty and there are no guarantees. Thus the reason that we highly stress that you publish the map with the gate codes. Okay, the first gate that you encounter is the automatic gate for the Stagecoach Estates subdivision. All you have to do is enter the 4-digit numerical code that I provide for you on the map. And now no other special characters are needed. Some people think that sometimes they need to press a pound key or a star key, but it's just the 4 digits that I've given you. Now, when you pass through that gate, after it opens for you automatically, then after you pass through, it will close behind you. When you're heading back down off of the mountain and you're heading home after your camp is over, as you approach this gate from the other side, then it will open automatically as you draw your car a little bit closer and get up into the area where the laser reads that your vehicle is approaching, and then it will open automatically. So always remember, they're happy to let you out with little or no effort. It's getting in where you need the gate code. Okay, the second manual Bittner Ranch gate surrounds private property, and these neighbors of ours have asked us to keep their privacy gate closed and locked at all times while we're using our church property at Beaver Ridge. And we want to be good neighbors, and so we want to stress to you that this is one of the most important parts of the mandatory training, and that is for us to teach you how to use this manual gate and to stress to you how important it is that it stay locked at all times, with one exception, and I'll get to that in a minute. This gate is located approximately 3 miles to the south of Beaver Ridge. I find that this picture is helpful in our training so that people know exactly how to get in through this gate. As we stated, this gate needs to be locked at all times, excuse me, and so it will be locked when you approach it. Off to the far right-hand side, where the red arrow is pointing down with a red star on this picture, you can see that there are several lock boxes to choose from that are mounted on the gate. The lock box that's on the far left side of this section is for use by LDS Church Beaver Ridge campers. Now, let me draw your attention to another picture. I just wanted to show you a little bit of instruction on how you open that door to the numbers and then put in the code and then pull down on that black latch to the left and then open the box and find the key inside. So once you have the key, you can take that to the padlock that is found over on the far left side of the entire gate. So you walk over then, put your hand right up inside of that little housing that holds the padlock, and then remove that padlock from that big gate, and then the gate should open up. And remember, when you close the gate behind you, to put the padlock back inside and lock it, and then return the key back to the lockbox. Now, I told you there was one exception to the rule of always keeping this manual gate locked. It is for large groups only. Most campers arrive in smaller groups with 1, 2, maybe 3 vehicles. Those small groups can easily give out the map and instructions, and they're pretty self-sufficient. It's the large groups that will have many cars passing through over an hour period or so that we have developed this one exception to the rule. It saves having to give out the locked gate codes to too many individuals and getting too many phone calls about how to open this manual gate. We suggest the following solution. We call it gate monitoring. Please assign 1 or 2 individuals to remain at the gate, leave the gate unlocked and open to allow the groups to drive through as they arrive in their vehicles, but someone must be there manning the gate at all times from your group, maintaining that open gate situation. So that is why the next bullet point stresses that we ask you to please do not leave the gate unmanned for any reason. After all the campers with your group have arrived, please have that person lock the gate and replace the key in the lockbox. Okay, knowing when to arrive and depart is next on the agenda. This schedule has been set up especially for when one reservation is stacked on top of another one. We're really quite lenient, and if you're enjoying the campground and would like to stay longer, please give me a phone call while you're up at the camp, and I can quickly check to see if there is someone else scheduled to come in right behind you. And if not, then we can easily give you permission to stay a little longer in the day. But when we have reservations in the busy part of the summer stacked on top of each other, then we have to set up these guidelines as your arrival and departure times. So on Mondays through Fridays, we would ask that you do not arrive before 12 noon. Arriving any earlier than that may impinge on someone else's trying to clean up to get out. So we have set 11:30 as the departure time on the last day of your stay. That applies if your departure day falls on a Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, it's different because we never have anyone that checks in on a Saturday afternoon to sleep overnight for Sunday. And so on that day, when we don't have anyone checking in, then we allow you to stay until 3 p.m. Next is the no burn policy. Doug, Randy, and I will all be made aware of the campfire burning policies throughout the summer by church headquarters. It's our responsibility to contact you if it's necessary to prohibit campfires during your stay. This is determined by local law enforcement agencies and state and federal EPA guidelines. If we have contacted you and there is a no burn policy in effect, then it is your responsibility as the leadership of your group during your week to adhere strictly to and enforce this policy. We may or may not have very much lead time to inform you of this, sometimes quickly changing policy. Your job is to be able to turn on a dime and make new plans for your camping activities if campfires are all of a sudden prohibited. Emergency evacuation. Next is a little bit of guidance from us on emergency evacuation planning. While establishing your camp, we suggest you become familiar with the property and especially all the roads and trails. While doing so, consider all possible evacuation plans depending on the emergency at hand. The best and safest evacuation routes may include trespassing onto or through an adjoining property. There are some priorities to assist you in establishing egress routes, and I'll cover those now. Highest priority in any evacuation plan would, of course, be life, limb, and personal safety. Second would be personal property, and of course, third and lowest priority would be the campground and the campground facilities. The proximity of the danger or the threat should be considered, and from which direction is the danger moving, and how fast can the camp be evacuated. Don't forget to call 911 and or notify the Summit County Sheriff's Office, which I've included in your handouts, if there is an emergency. Let them know of the danger and let them know what your suggestions for evacuation are. But if they give you any different instructions, please follow their instructions. And our final word on this subject is, as always, please remember to use prayer and the Spirit to guide you as you act in the case of any and all emergencies. Okay, that concludes the first part of our training. And the next module will be a list of our rules and guidelines.